I'm here. I'm here. I am 2 minutes late. Honest to God, I was about to get going 1 minute to 11:30. Then I had to go to the washroom. Anyway, my name is IanTheHRPro. I'm an HR consultant and Indigenous Relations consultant here in the City of Champions in Alberta. Anyway, today is Career Club Day, so we're going to talk about resumes, cover letters, interview prep, anything career related, job hunt stuff, job hunt tactics, right? All the good stuff to help you get a job. Sorry, excuse me, I started off and then I started burping. Yeah, I even wrote myself a little script, which I completely forgot to read because, yeah, welcome back to the IanTheHRPro live podcast. That's what I was supposed to start with. And actually, I was thinking of starting something really nifty. I was thinking of starting with from the City of Champions. It's IanTheHRPro live podcast. I'm your host, IanTheHRPro. I was going to do something cool like that, because on my last live, I talked about, or in a recent live, I talked about how listening to Art Bell's Coast to Coast at 3 o'clock in the morning was probably one of the scariest things you could do when you're listening to the radio. A lot of truck drivers calling into that show because they're driving all night and things like that. Anyway, I just think about stuff like that. Today I should be live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Instagram, I don't know if it's actually live. You know what? I'm going to grab my phone and I'm going to go to Instagram because I never checked it. I was checking other channels as I started to go live and as I started adding channels, but for some reason I didn't check Instagram. I did go to Twitch afterwards and noticed it was saving my live show, so I know it's working there. But Instagram, I never checked. How do I know? Supposedly I'm going live. How do I know I'm going live? I have no idea. There isn't like a section where it's like, oh, whoa, whoa, sorry, that was noisy. Some lady. How do you see lives? How do you see lives on Instagram? If anyone wants to be the expert and let me know. How do I know when someone's going live? How do I see their lives? Wow. So anyway, I can't find my live on. Does it say anyone in Instagram land? Let me know. Does it say someplace you are live? This person is live. Watch them live. Or does it just show up? It's supposed to be live. I don't understand what's going on. I can edit my channels. It says update the channel and provide a new streaming key. Stream key. So I need a streaming key, supposedly, for my Instagram. Let's see. For desktop using or any other streaming software. Yes. Instagram is rolling out new. Make sure you have a professional account. Yeah, okay. For Instagram on your desktop, click create live. Copy your stream. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna log into Instagram. And okay, I'm logged in. Instructions tell me to go to on your desktop, click create, then live video. Click create. Where's the create button? Create live video. Add live video details. Oh, where's the... Enter your video title and choose the audience. Enter video title. Let's go with Ian, the HR Pro Live Podcast. And I always spell podcast wrong. Don't know why. Then I choose my audience. It says public, practice, or close friends. Let's go with public, I guess. Then I click the next button. And copy your stream key. Copy my stream key. Stream key copied. And then I'm adding the stream key here. I guess I'll just save it. Update the channel. Okay, let's see again. See if it's working. Got a new stream key. Turn off. Then I'll turn it on. I don't think I updated my info. Oh my god, this should be stream number 6 for Thursday Career Club. And oh my god, there's always something. Always in a rush, and I forget stuff. I need to put all that in there. Just need to put that in there. Update all. Okay. Looks like I'm streaming to Instagram now. All right. So it should just be using that stream key. Now, again, how do I view myself going live on Instagram? I don't know. I don't know how to work this thing. I don't know. It says it's streaming now. I got no idea how to watch that stream. Instagram limits live streams to 1 hour. So it may automatically planned. The stream key is not permanent. You'll need a new one for each new stream. Wah, wah. Wah, wah. Why are they making that so hard? I can stream on all these other things. I'll probably stop streaming there then. If it's just a pain in the butt and I gotta change it every time, I should be able to stream to Twitter X if I want. I don't know. As always, if you got a question, ask your question in the comments. Let's talk. Today is career club theme, right? We're talking resumes, cover letters, interview prep, job hunt stuff, whatever you want to talk about to help you get that next job. Yeah, let's get going. Let's get some questions here. And we got the music, and I'm gonna put this phone away because I don't know how to see if I'm live on Instagram. If I gotta keep putting a new stream code every time I stream, well, that's an extra little process I gotta do just before each live. That's a pain. Why would they set it up? Oh, I dropped my lid. I'm taking the lid off my hibiscus tea, and I just dropped it, and I gotta drain out the, because I'm using loose leaf hibiscus tea. I gotta get all that goodness out of there. Something I'm always drinking, hibiscus tea. So go over to Amazon and go pick your type of hibiscus tea. At the bulk store here in Edmonton, we found hibiscus tea. It was hibiscus and rose hips. That was quite nice. In order to make hibiscus work for you, if you're thinking you're trying to reduce your blood pressure, you gotta have a really strong tea, and you gotta have it like 3 times a day. Still a little bit warm. Not as strong as I would like. But you're looking for a way to keep your heart healthy. And what I add to it, because you're supposed to have 3 cups of green tea a day to get your proper antioxidants, I put a little of this gunpowder green tea. Again, here's a link to Amazon. You can go check it out. I put a little bit of the gunpowder green tea in there too. Basically, I'll put 2 scoops of the loose leaf, so it's about a tablespoon, something like that, of the hibiscus. I'll do 2 of those, and then I'll do about 1/2 a tablespoon of the gunpowder, because I hate the taste of green tea. I need to get it somehow. Excuse me, coughing here. Anyway, you can check those out sometime. Up in the top right, up in my top right, right hand corner, I see. I think it's in your left. Your left, my right. Is all my links. So if you want to connect with me, or if you want to look at the stuff I do, human resources, indigenous relations, Kairos blanket exercise, you want to buy my $7 ebook on how to my $7 ebook on how to reduce staff drama in about 5 weeks. No, 5 weeks. 5 days. There's a step-by-step on everything you should do for 5 days, and that's $7 plus taxes off my website. It's a nice entry place if a small business owner is having some staff drama they want to fix. I mean, that's the link up in there. There's also links to my sister and my mother's craft businesses. They're indigenous. We're indigenous. So you're getting indigenous stuff from real indigenous people, not the fake indigenous people. And speaking of that, if you are interested in supporting indigenous writers and other people, use this Amazon link and go check out everything indigenous on Amazon. And I updated my live podcast info screen. And there's also an updated link in all my links, QR code up in the top corner. This will give you info on the days I've canceled a show. So special events, Christmas, New Year's, those sorts of things, I'm not going to do a show. And maybe some birthdays, things like that. I'm definitely not doing a show on my own birthday. Back with that. Nobody wants to do a show on their birthday. Woo! Sorry, I'm yawning. So my wife will usually take her birthday off each year so she can relax, and then we can do something and hang out, and that's always great stuff. She's been with her organization for so long. She gets a lot of days off now. She's like 17, pushing 18 years, and her organization, so she gets a lot of time off, and that's awesome. And that's what you want, she spent a lot of years working, and when she's looking for a new job, she's looking for a different department and maybe advancing into a management role and things like that. So it's kind of different because it's this internal job search, whereas the rest of us, most of us, we're dealing with external job searches, and we're sending out 100 job applications a week and hoping something sticks, and constantly trying to update our resume. So when it comes to your resume, God, you got to do something about it. Keep it current. Anytime you learn something new at your current job, you add it. You add a new bullet point. And combine bullet points that make sense to try to keep it short. And instead of creating a list of skills or a list of programs, add that as a bullet to each job. At this job, I use these programs. And you want to try to use the full name for these programs, and also the abbreviation. So you want to say Microsoft Office Suite or Microsoft 365 or whatever the heck it's called, right? Or if you're just using certain programs, you want to use Microsoft Word. Maybe in brackets you're putting MS after the Microsoft, so it's MS Word, right? You want to make sure that you're catching everything, the abbreviation or the full spelling of the word, because now our resumes are all, a lot of organizations, they're going through the machine, and the AI is saying no keywords found, don't consider this person, right? So yes, AI is getting better, but you still want to make sure you're using as many keywords as possible. Industry, language, that's what you want as much as possible on your resume, because you might have all the right skills and experience, but if an actual person never sees your resume, oh my God, I forgot to set this to the higher streaming setting. I just noticed we're only streaming at 720p. That is high definition. But yesterday, I was able to go 1080p, and I think I have each day set up as a different podcast on restream.io. So it's a different theme on each one, and I've changed the colors a little bit on each one, and my show notes are different on each one. So I guess on each one, before I start the live stream, I've got to change the quality of the stream. I want to go. Yeah, I'm paying for restream.io, so I want to do the 1080p and get as high quality as possible. Hopefully my clips will look a little bit better, my AI clips that come out, whatever. But anyway, we're back to talking about the resume. I'm like Grandpa Simpson, just rambling on, talking about potato guns. So keep your resume up to date. Always, always, always. Even if you're a long-term person at an organization like my wife is, every time you learn something, you put it on your resume. And just before you start your job search up again, review it. Make sure everything is correct. Make sure you haven't missed anything. I know people forget about putting in management experience. So in your current role, maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks a year, you're covering for your supervisor or your manager. So you are getting a little bit of management experience. So you've got to make sure that you're putting that in there. If you were at an organization for 10 years and you covered at least 2 weeks a year for your manager, so that's 2 times 10, it's 20 weeks divided by 4. You've got 5 to 6 months experience of being a manager, right? So that's something. So you might not put in, I've got 6 months experience as manager, but you might put in, I covered yearly for 3 weeks or 2 weeks every year for my manager while they were on vacation, right? You want to put that in because it's good. It's going to do 2 things. One, you're going to look like, you can do at least some temporary limited management role, and you're not really scared to do it. And 2 was the scared thing. You're not scared to do it. So if someone's looking at someone who they're filling a role, but they know now and again that this role has to cover the manager or the supervisor role, you don't want to be putting someone in that role that isn't at least a little bit confident or have a little bit of experience in cover-offs like that. So you absolutely need to make sure you're saying that. Otherwise, they're going to look at your resume and they're like, this person did this job, but there's no management experience whatsoever. We need someone that can move into that role eventually or whatever, right? And you didn't put it in. You didn't put it in that you were covering off for your manager. And that's big, man. That's big. Make sure you're putting that in there. What else? The big things with resumes. I absolutely hate the random list of what do we call that? The random list of skills. Or a random list of programs. It just takes up space. And to me, if I'm looking at a resume, now I might be a little more of a stickler on this. It may say you have some sort of skill in your skills list, your generic list. But how often did you use it? Which organization did you use it with? Was it recent? Was it 20 years ago? Like, I need to know that. And if you're adding that bullet point that says, I learned all these skills in this job, or you turn each one of those skills into an awesome bullet point in that job, it's provable. When it's in just the list of skills, it's unprovable. I got no place. If I'm just looking at your resume, there's no way for me to say, where's the proof, right? When you have it in the job, then there's proof. Oh, okay, they did that at this job. Great. Because if you're just throwing in keywords and the industry lingo into some list, okay, it might get you past the automated systems, but it might not get you past that person who looks at it the second review. So think strategically like that. Get the most out of your resume. I know when I look at having like ChatGPT or AI review and update my resume, it wants to put that skills list in. And I still don't exactly agree with it. I don't like it. I think the rationale was that originally people looked at the resume and they used that as a way to vet. So you have that 6 to 10 seconds when a resume comes in and a physical person is looking at it. This is not using AI or any sort of automated system. It's my business. You give me a resume. I look through it. 6 to 10 seconds is normally what the hiring manager or the owner is got. So if there's a handy dandy list up at the top before, then I can quickly look at it and say, okay, good. This is good. But now, with the advent of AI and the automatic machines, like even when they use Indeed, I've used Indeed from the hiring side, and I'm able to put in all kinds of different conditions and keywords and experiences that needs to be on that resume. How many people were vetted out because I created this list of must-haves when all you did was forget to put in the lingo or something, right? So whether it's in the random list or if it's actually built into your bullet points. All right, there's someone at my front door. I don't know. I'm just going to check. I don't know if my mother-in-law is going to get it. She got it. I heard. I think it was Amazon delivery. Amazon. So that's awesome. We did order some stuff. I really enjoy ordering from online stores. I hate that we order from Amazon. If you got a different option that's as good as Amazon, I just hate the way they treat their workers and their delivery people. It hurts every time we order, but I like to order. I hate grocery shopping. I hate going to the store. And that comes back to that whole racism thing, because I get followed around the store, I get treated funny, things like that, because I'm Indigenous. So I hate shopping. Resumes, the automated systems, right? So if you don't use the exact wording that I'm using, whether it's on that random list or even point form, you're going to get vetted right out. Or you're going to get a low rating. Like it's going to say, oh, this person's a 90% match, but your resume is only a 60% match, right? And that's like, oh, well, I won't even look at those. I'll look at the 90, but I won't even look at this. And as soon as I get that physical resume, or I'm physically looking at it on the screen, I'm doing more than just the 3 to 6 second vet. Because once upon a time, you got the resume, you got the physical resume, 6 to 10 seconds, me as the HR professional or the hiring manager, 6 to 10 seconds was yes or no, right? And that's what the automated systems are doing right now. It's doing the yes or no. So nowadays, we don't need that short list. It can be just added into your bullet points. Because now when I'm looking at it the second one through, 50% of those resumes went bye-bye or more. Especially with the automated system, I might be looking at things that are only 80% or above. Anything below that is not worth my time, right? So, but I'm still looking at it now. And I need as much information as possible. So you using this type of program or having this type of skill, you need to put it as a bullet point for me, because I'm not doing that quick review at this point. I am deciding second level. I'm deciding who do I do a phone interview with? Who do I do the first interview with at this point? So I'm going to take more time, look through all these resumes with a fine-tooth comb, and it's not going to be yes or no. It's going to be yes, maybe, no. So that second level where the human is looking at yes, maybe, no. So the system has said these are all 80% matched what I want or above. Now I'm vetting them out because I'm deciding, okay, the yes are the ones I'm probably gonna do the first interview with. The maybes I'm gonna keep around just in case all or most of these are no good. The maybes I'm gonna stick around, but the no's I'm also gonna get rid of. So that's a second level of checking out these resumes. I mean, once upon a time, 500 resumes coming in for one position. Oh my God, that was a lot of work. So 6 to 10 seconds doing it manually like that, yeah. But now, if I get 500 resumes come in and the Indeed system does all the heavy lifting initially, it's going to say, out of 500, here's 20 that are above a certain percentage, right? And I will sort for that percentage and say, okay, I'm going to print these out or I'm going to review them. And even in the Indeed system, I can put yes, maybe, or no, right? So I can vet it in there, and I can make it so anything that's below a certain threshold is an automatic no, or it's an automatic no if they don't have some sort of experience. So again, that comes to the keywords. And these keywords that I'm talking about, the industry keywords or position keywords, right? If you're administrative assistant, you're gonna use certain keywords. If you're an administrative assistant in the construction industry, you're gonna use more keywords, right? There's certain things that are industry specific, and there's certain things that are position specific. So you want to make sure that you're covering both sides of that. And you're certainly wanting to put in things that are kind of hidden. You always got to look for that hidden stuff. So I already touched on management. I cover for my manager every now and again, right? Make sure it's in there. They know you have the ability, aspirations, or you won't be scared away by having to do cover off, right? So that's fine. But the other hidden things are, I like to talk about this because when we're talking about a job title, administrative assistant. So when I say administrative assistant, you, me, everybody automatically, why is my head so itchy all of a sudden? So we all have preconception about a job title, right? I'm an engineer, I'm a salesperson, but what type of admin assistant, right? Like, you might specifically say I was reception / admin assistant, right? So that means you work the front desk, you work the phones, you were the face of the organization, you were the happy face people saw when they came in to your organization. So you're more client facing. When you say reception, that means client facing. So you're dealing with the public, or you're dealing with your clients, right? You could say HR assistant, right? HR, human resources administrative assistant, right? That gives you something else. And just saying the title gives us all this preconception about what is in that role. And thing is, all our jobs are different, slightly different, based on the needs of our organization, our current or previous organizations. We had, there's some base stuff we were doing, but the edges were all like this. Like there's all kinds of different things, right? So if you say administrative assistant, okay, you're thinking of all the stuff, but are you thinking accounts receivable? Are you thinking payroll? Are you thinking cover off for the CEO's executive assistant? Right? Like, there's other things that you may have been assigned in your current role that isn't normally associated with the job title. So you've got to be as detailed as possible when you're listing out the things you did at that position, because these are hidden things. They, They're looking for a finance clerk. Okay. What do you think? Sorry. You think maybe an administrative assistant could move into that role? But, yeah, maybe not. But, now, if your old role, administrative assistant, and you were also doing payroll, overtime calculations, you were doing accounts receivable or something like that, that's more related to finance, you've got that one step up on that person that doesn't have finance experience, and they want that finance clerk job too, right? So there's the hidden skill. Don't forget to discover your hidden skills and add them to your resume. So, yeah. So there. It's talk about the resume. But is your resume the only way you can get a job? Is there a way that you could get people to say, hey, Dave, I would like you to apply for this job. Can you give me your resume? Oh, is that golden? Is that a situation we all want to be in? Do we want to be headhunted like that? Absolutely. And how do we do that? How do we get ourselves into a headhuntable position? Oh, that's a big one. Let's talk about that. This is exciting. I think it's a combination between personal branding, volunteering, and networking. This is what I think the 3 elements of getting headhunted are. And I'm just making this shit up right now. So if I change it halfway through this conversation, that's fine. So I'm going to put it in the show notes so I don't forget. Personal brand, volunteering, and networking. Now they're all closely interconnected. So personal brand, me, Ian, the HR professional, right? I need to always be branding myself as a competent HR professional, right? So I am writing blogs on my website. I'm writing articles on LinkedIn. I'm posting all this on LinkedIn. I'm creating videos about my blogs and my articles. I'm posting those on YouTube. I'm sharing those, all the YouTube videos onto my LinkedIn, or I'm uploading shorts all about my HR professionalism, right? My HR career. I'm doing that. And I'm doing that right now with my own business because this is kind of a vital thing. But whoever you are, in whatever role you're doing, you should be working on that personal brand, because they're going to find you. You're going to put your resume into a job and they're going to, John Smith, let's go have a look at him on LinkedIn. John Smith from Edmonton. Oh, John Smith from Edmonton. You're pretty cool. You've got a bunch of stuff up here about your career, and oh, you seem really knowledgeable. I watched a couple of videos about this John Smith guy. He looks good. And he's got 5,000 connections on LinkedIn. So he's almost a micro influencer, micro influencers, like 6,000 to 15,000. So I'm right in that micro influencer section, right? Connections or followers. So anyway, we should be building our personal brand, who you are, who as a person. And it doesn't always have to be just your career stuff you're posting. Could be life stuff. Not too personal though. Don't get too personal if you don't want to, because there's always the naysayers out there. Oh, this guy, he only posts vacation videos, and he's gonna be asking to go on vacation every month or something like that, right? We'll never get any work out of him. There's always going to be those naysayers, and you know what? You kind of don't want to be working for that sort of organization anyway. You want to get, if you find yourself going to networking events, we'll get to more about that, but you may want to make a business card just for yourself. Ian Hopfe, HR professional, and like my email and my cell phone number, or maybe my LinkedIn also. Just boom, something simple that you can share. Maybe even put your elevator speech on that card. So I watched a video this morning trying to refine my elevator speech, and I came up with this one. This is my elevator speech, and I'm kind of comparing it to the heading I have on LinkedIn right now, and I'm kind of making sure it's all branded the same way on all my social medias, things like that. So you want to kind of have that same message, and so I'm just refining it. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse than what I got. I do like the one I got, but anyway, I have this is my elevator speeches, or one-liner. So someone says, "Hey, I'm John Smith. Who are you? What do you do?" Right? And I'm like, I'm Ian Hopfe. If a small business has staff drama, I help to solve it in as little as 5 days by having an HR consulting meeting, or they can purchase my $7 ebook, right? It's problem and what you do and how you solve it, kind of, I can't remember what the third one is, but I talk about the problem. If a small business has staff drama, that's the problem. That's when, so whatever you're solving, whatever your problem is that you're solving with your business or your career, something simple, something short. Depending on your situation, you could have a different elevator speech for each situation. Or if you do more than one thing, you would have different elevator speeches for that environment that you're in. If I also did video editing for YouTubers, and I was at an HR conference, I probably wouldn't talk about my YouTube editing skills, right? I wouldn't be talking about that. I would be talking about fixing staff drama problems, right? And if I went to a music event or something more related to music and the arts, then I would pull out the other elevator speech. If you have YouTube videos that need editing, I can get them done in about a day. For most people, you just gotta book a meeting with me, right? Like, like that sort of thing. But you have a different one for each time. When I talk about Indigenous relations, I've also got to come up with an elevator speech that'll work with that. But that's personal branding. all my social medias are, I'm trying to use the same photo. I'm trying to use the same name in a lot of places. IanTheHRPro is there, but other places, Instagram, I think it's Ian the Best Hopfee. And I'm just like, oh my God. Right? We all have that Hotmail address from our past when the internet first came forward, and we were like super happy jiggly boobs 69, right? Like we all had that sort of just weird email address. And so I have a couple of those. Yes. One's a Hotmail account, one's a YouTube, one's a Gmail account, right? Hotmail was purchased by Google. So if you see someone with a Hotmail address, you know they're old school, man. They're old school. But do personal branding stuff, even if you're not building your business, because the personal branding is part of your career. It's part of you. So does it have to be 100%? No, but you should be considering it. And do you have to be posting to social media all the time? No, but make sure all your social medias are branded the same. Same color background, same photo, whatever you're doing. Try to make it so that no matter where a possible employer or client finds you, it looks the same, right? But you do want to make sure that you're posting about your industry, about your career, about the skills you have related to that industry. You're not just going to post and say, I can use Microsoft Word and I can type at 500 words a second, right? Like, I mean, if you can type 500 words a second, that's a pretty big flex. You really should be talking about that. But I mean, who cares about your word skills, right? Like that's not it. You think about adding value. So when I'm going live, I am trying to teach you stuff and share stuff from my career. So that's value. I'm creating value for you. Even if you're not here, nobody's watching this podcast, I am not just giving you general stuff. I'm trying to be as exact as possible to create that value. Anyway, so personal brand, that's the first thing. And volunteering. So many of us forget to go volunteer, or we don't give volunteering the respect it needs. Because volunteering is work. Whether you're just helping out at the food bank and sorting donations on the shelf in the back room, or you're going down to the local soup kitchen on Turkey Day and you're helping to serve your houseless neighbors, whatever it is, be proud of it. Make sure you have it on your resume. Make sure you have it on your LinkedIn. It is a flex. It is something to brag about. Now, you got that general volunteering where maybe you're just going out to events and you're helping out at the event or whatever, but you have a little bit higher level of volunteering you could be doing. You could be volunteering to be on the board of directors for that charity or that volunteer organization that you support. You could do that. And one great way here in Edmonton is the community leagues. Every community within the city of Edmonton has a community league. Me and my wife, we are on the Queen Mary Park Community League board, and we do stuff on the board at the board level. So you're doing things that are related to your skills and possibly learning new skills. So you could be the treasurer or the CFO or whatever they might be calling it. So you're doing some finance work. You're an admin assistant trying to get into a finance clerk job, but you've been volunteering for the last 2 years as the treasurer for your local volunteer nonprofit organization. Yes, that is work. So on your resume where it says, I volunteer as treasurer on this organization board, you list out, just like a job, you list out all the bullet points, all the work you're doing for free for this organization. You're using all the keywords, you're putting in programs, you're putting in the skills you're learning, and all of a sudden you have like this additional work experience. And it allows you to just expand your knowledge. Even though your career is this, you are now volunteering to make you this, right? You're more than just your career. You are now also your volunteering, which tells you something about the person. Sometimes if you volunteer for a political organization, depending on the province and the current political environment, right, you might not want to be celebrating that you volunteer for a certain organization. And, that goes for right and for left of the political spectrum, because it's hard being progressive and left-leaning in a province like Alberta, because, well, we just don't know politics properly. People don't understand politics and what it actually means. We're stuck in our silos and what we believe, and nobody's going to tell us any different, right? So it's a very prickly place to be. If you volunteer at the church, that might also be a prickly place to be adding to your resume as volunteering. Yes, a lot of us can be proud of our religion and our faith and the things we do, but sometimes, the world is changing. So being on your church board and volunteering for church events, it's a little bit prickly because politics and religion, these are hard to deal with, because some organizations, it's a flat, oh no, we don't want you. When I applied to work for Kairos Canada, when I learned all about the Kairos blanket exercise, and I learned to facilitate it, and I helped train new facilitators, Kairos Canada is a church-led organization. So when I was applying, I made sure right up front, and I said, I'm an atheist, but I'm interested in what you guys are doing, right? And I was honest and upfront about it. And they hired me. They knew exactly where I was sitting. They weren't looking for that ultra-religious person to join the organization. They wanted somebody who could do this particular type of work. And so that worked out. And sometimes I'm a little scared to mention that Kairos is a church organization, because I kind of don't want people to know I work for a church organization, right? Me being a little more progressive and left-leaning, it's almost like a dark secret. Oh, you work for the church. It's because I believe in environmentalism and I'm a very green person, it's hard for me to admit, I used to work for oil companies and construction companies and things like that, right? Or I used to drive a Ford pickup truck all the time, everywhere. But as a left-leaning environmentalist, I was ashamed of that when I was with my environmental friends, right? So I would try to keep tea. Be aware. Just be aware that if you're applying for certain organizations and maybe you think naming the organization might be an issue, then go ahead and put in just a description of it. You know, you weren't volunteering at the United Church. You were volunteering at the local faith organization, or you were volunteering at the local community center, the church basement, community events, right? Like you can change it if you want. If they straight up ask you, is this a church? I mean, you can be honest. You might consider that as a red flag, so you don't want to work for this organization if they're frowning on the fact that you have some sort of faith and you volunteer at the church and you participate in your religion, right? And we see this more as a problem for, say, people who have faith other than Christianity, right? If you're Muslim or Jewish or something like that, that might be more frowned upon in our so-called Christian society. And just remember that Canada is not a Christian country, and neither is the United States. We're very a melting pot, right? Everybody comes together and we respect everybody's rights and stuff like that. So the volunteering side of building your personal brand, or trying to get a job without applying, right? How to get head hunted. So we're talking about how to get head hunted. We talked about personal brand. We just talked about volunteering. And the third ingredient, in my opinion, to get head hunted is the networking. I absolutely hate in-person networking. Oh, I am an introvert, and I can sit here and talk to you like this. If I'm invited to an event where I have to speak in front of 500 to 1,000 people, I can do that because I'm at the head of the room and I'm not one-on-one connecting with 500 or 1,000 people. I'm up here doing my thing. I can do this, no problem. But get me in that crowd where I gotta mingle and talk to people. Oh, it's hard for me. You know, I'm Indigenous. I'm a bigger guy. You know, like all these things just start compounding on me, and I start getting that imposter syndrome and seeing racism everywhere, and I'm just scared to get in a situation where everybody's suddenly laughing at me because of who I am or whatever, right? Like this stuff for an introvert, this is scary stuff. So you got to find other ways to network if you're an introvert like me. I do get out now and again, but it is a big strain on my mental health. It's very hard for me to get out. So I understand if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to do networking. Well, with the brand building and the volunteering, that you're open to do the networking, right? That's your opening. It's what you've created for yourself. Now you're on the social media and you're being active, and people can direct message you or leave comments, and that's your opportunity to jump and network, right? That's your opportunity there with the personal brand. With volunteering, it's the same thing. Suddenly you're volunteering and you're around people that aren't your normal group of people. They're not your normal group of friends or the type of people you would feel most comfortable with. These are people that you feel uncomfortable with. So you have a networking opportunity. So you just try to get to know these people. Just like starting a new job, you slowly start to meet the people in the organization and find out more about them, right? And you do the same thing with the volunteering organization. And it's going to be people just from all kinds of different walks of life in the volunteering part of your life. With your job and the organization you work for, it's kind of like-minded people, right? They have something in common. God, my glasses are like crooked. I feel like I'm okay. Maybe that's so. The volunteering allows you to get these networking opportunities. But certainly, if you are not an introvert and you can handle crowds and mingling with this crowd, certainly go out and do it, right? You want to go meet people, even if you have only one really great conversation at the networking event or a conference or whatever. If you can have just that one awesome conversation with somebody, then you've made a network connection. You exchanged cards, you connected with each other on LinkedIn or whatever social media is most useful to you. Right now you're connected. Now they're going to see your personal brand stuff. They're going to have the ability to learn about your skills and your volunteering beforehand, right? And that's when someone may come back and say, oh my God, I totally forgot about Ian. I met him last year at that conference, and I know he had been volunteering doing this or that, and I keep seeing his content on LinkedIn, and I just totally forgot about him. But we have this opportunity here. I think he would be great for it. I'm going to contact him and say, hey, apply. Or, if it's a government organization, they have to go through the hiring process. There is ways around it internally. We won't talk about that. But the sneaky ways. But if you're applying from the outside, there's that process that has to be followed. But with private industry or private organization, they don't have to follow these hiring rules. It's the Wild West when you're getting hired to a private organization, right? You're putting in your resume, they're looking at them, they're deciding, they're being racially biased, right? They're using all their biasism, and they're hiring the white person who speaks perfect English because they don't want to deal with someone with an accent, right? So it's very wild west when you're applying for a non-government organization or an organization that isn't heavily regulated or an organization that has a very strong union. Now, organizations with unions, that's just a red flag that either currently or in the past that organization was a terrible place to be employed. Why would you need a union if you were a good employer? Why would your employees need to fight for basic stuff if you were a good employer? Right? That's a giant red flag with unions. It's because somewhere in the past, this group of people, this professional group of people, they were being abused in some way, shape, or form by capitalism and the capitalists, right? Even professional organizations, like I'm a member of CPHR here in Alberta, and they not only help me with ongoing training, and they give me conference opportunities. They also address, they're like they're almost like a labor union, but they do advocacy for human resource people and lobby. They're like a lobby group almost, right? They will say, oh, this is a major issue with our government or our industry, and we're gonna make it well known, right? Excuse me, burping. So even those sorts of organizations are there to protect us HR professionals in reality. What protects small business owners? WCB. It's called the Workers' Compensation Board, but it really should be called the Business Insurance Board, right? Like, it is another level of insurance. When you're a business, and if you're some sort of business that has danger or activity, human motion, whatever, things like that, then you need to get the WCB insurance. If you're just an office and people just work in the office and they don't do anything, you can still go to WCB and like try to be a member or whatever, but they'll say you have a low risk environment, so we certify you as a low risk environment and you don't have to pay us anything. I don't think you have to pay anything. But if you were, say, a construction company and you're building houses and skyscrapers, and my God, not only are you having regular insurance for your business, but you're also getting WCB, and you're paying a lot of money to WCB because WCB is there to protect the organization, to protect the business. It's not there to protect the employees like the name says, because you get injured on the job, you go to your doctor says this guy's injured, can't work for X amount of days, weeks, months, years, whatever, and then you take all that to WCB, and WCB says, oh, maybe you can work, could you go get a different doctor's appointment, different doctor's evaluation or whatever, right? They'll do everything to not pay out to the employee, and the employee has to continue getting seen by the doctor, and they pressure you to get back on the job in some way, shape, or form. You know, Dave got injured. He's, I don't know, got a cast on. So obviously for, I don't know, the first couple of weeks, Dave can't work. He's in a lot of pain. He's dealing with having to use the cast. But in the third week, WCB is Like, hey, Dave, could you maybe work the office and do some filing instead of working the construction job? Right? They're doing everything to get that person back on the job, right? And Dave's like, no, not really. And WCB's like, oh, Dave, why don't you go see a doctor and see if it's okay for you to do limited standing and movements and stuff, right? So they're just trying to get you back to work so that the employer doesn't have to go through the process of hiring another full-time employee or whatever, right? Like all the hassles that come from being down a person. Oh, sorry. Whoa, that was a rant. Sorry, we were talking networking. Build your personal brand. Do lots of volunteering so you can gain a wider array of skills. And start the networking. Your personal branding and your volunteering are going to give you openings for your networking that may be a little more digital in nature. But certainly if you're an outgoing person, if you're an extroverted person, definitely let's start going to networking events, handing out your business cards. And one day, if you're a good person or you fit someone's organization, right, they're going to come knocking. Right? Ian, oh my God. We see the stuff you talk about online, and we met last year at such and such event, and we would like to just give you a job. I mean, like, can you imagine that? Or at the very least, they'll say, we really want you to apply for this job because we're really interested in you. So they might have a handful of candidates that they've headhunted, and maybe there's a few people that had just applied or whatever, right? But now they got this nice mix of people that have applied, that they headhunted, that employees referred, right? We all know people. If you're an employer and all your employees know people, then what's wrong with saying to your employees, hey, we got this position that we need to fill. I mean, a good employer is going to do step 0 first. They're going to say, hey, we got this new position. Who wants it? Right? And you're going to start training this person to do this new position. And it's somebody you know, it's someone in your organization. You just got to give them some new training for this new role. Nice. But now their role needs to get filled. So does anyone know who we can get to backfill it? Right? Maybe someone else wants to move into that role or whatever. But eventually you're going to get to a point where we're shorthanded. Does anybody know anybody? And if you know, like, and trust your employees, then their recommendation might be the perfect person, might be the perfect candidate for your organization. So take these internal referrals seriously. And the personal branding, the volunteering, and the networking hopefully get you into that situation where you are being referred from an internal point of view. There's a current employee who says, Ian, I got a guy, Ian, he's going to want this role. I know it. Right? So that's where you want to be to get headhunted. We see a lot of headhunting happening in like Fortune 500 companies type things, right? We'll see the CEO of, I don't know, we'll see the CEO of Kellogg's get headhunted, and they're now working for Ford Motor Company or something as the new CEO, and then they get switched from Ford over to Kia America or something like that, right? Like, we see these people that were high-ranking employees at one organization. They were already vice president or director of this or whatever. They've now been headhunted to a different organization. Maybe now they're the CEO of this new organization, right? When you're doing this executive search type thing, if your organization needs a new CEO, that's really a different ballgame. The executive search company isn't, they may not even have the job listed on their general website, right? Where we're looking for general laborers for this construction project, right? Like, that's right next to it isn't the CEO needed for Google, that's not there. You don't see that. So the headhunting is really about that organization trying to find the perfect person. And how do they do that? Well, they know a lot of people in a lot of organizations already. So they've been building up their list. But what are they doing? They're looking at people and their personal brand, and they're looking at how they're connected, aka volunteering, and how they've been networking. So, this person has been invited to this conference and speaking engagement for the last 3 years in a row, or you start seeing this person. Yes, I might be the COO of some smaller company, but I'm still invited to speak at some conference, right? I'm not the CEO of the company, and I'm not the CEO of a massive company, but I'm still getting noticed. That personal branding is working. You also see people that they have a job at some organization, and usually somewhere in the C-suite or director or vice president's role or something like that. You see these people, but then they're also on the board of directors for XYZ charity. They're on the board of directors for ABC community outreach nonprofit, right? They're holding multiple roles on these boards, and that's when you start seeing somebody on multiple boards like that, the kind of high profile boards in your community. These organizations want people on their board that can just donate because they're rich, or they have lots of connections, or they have some sort of brand that will bring prestige to that volunteer organization. Now, a lot of these board members, they're not paid. They're volunteering just like you are. Right? So, in the very fancy side of things, yeah, they might be getting paid. But usually, like a hospital foundation for 3-4 hospitals in a big city, You're on the board of directors because you have a lot of rich friends, and you can give free tickets to the yearly gala, and those rich friends will make a donation. They will bid high on the silent auction and may be interested in investing in a new project for the organization, right? Like, it's sorry. So if you see somebody on a lot of boards, that's kind of, they built that personal brand. Whether they're the CEO of XYZ company or the CEO and president of ABC company, they've got their personal brand. And I guarantee you, if there's an organization looking for a CEO and they think this person is interested, they're going to headhunt that person. They're going to be like, hey, Ian, we know you're working there, but would you consider coming over here, right? And that stuff's not advertised. So you want to be in a position where you can get headhunted. It might not be as extreme as some CEO of some company, but if you get a little clout around the community, you're on your community league board as a treasurer, and you're an accountant at a big accounting firm, and you've also volunteered on some charities to do auditing or just finance stuff for them, or right, like, you get your name out there, there's going to be businesses coming at you eventually. There's like, hey, what about this guy? He's in all this and he's volunteering, right? Like, it's all important. How to get headhunted. Build your personal brand, volunteer like crazy, and get out there and start networking. Leverage your personal brand and your volunteering to help you network. So, look, someone chatted. Oh my God, my sister was chatting. I missed all her chats. What time is it? 11:32. On cold calls from out of province for jobs she never applied for. Just having her resume on that website for teachers. A couple as far as England. We almost moved. Woo! Yes. When a spouse is getting headhunting opportunities in a different country, that's fun. I mean, except the United States, you don't want to go into a war zone. But yeah, my sister says she needs to be headhunted. That was my sister who's making those comments on the commenter screen. There you go. You can see her comments, and now you can't see her comments. So, thanks for participating, Joy, my favorite big sister. And I was rambling so much I didn't even see those come in. Oh, it wasn't too bad. It's only 101, 12:59, 12:57. Okay, not bad. But yeah, headhunting. I did get contacted one time from a headhunter, and they were like, would you be interested in this role? And I said, yeah, sure. And then they made me go through all the standard roles you do when you go to like a staffing agency or temp agency. Like, they have you do all kinds of stuff and testing your skills, or giving your resume and asking you all the questions on what type of job you're looking for and stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude, didn't you just want me to apply for this one job? Like, why am I going through this whole process? And now that same recruiter slash headhunter is just sending me garbage jobs. Hey, you want to do this? You want to do that? So you got to be careful. I don't think I'm at a situation yet where I can get headhunted weekly. If I was in that position, I'd already have some fancy CEO job or something like that, right? But certainly these are the three things you need. These are the Daves I know. These are the Daves I know. Oh, little kitchen hall right there. So how to get headhunted. But it might not. Now, we use the word headhunted, and it sounds almost grandiose or whatever. You want Bob, who owns a small business, to contact his friend Wendy, who is your best friend, and Wendy needs to say, oh, Julie can do this job, right? And Bob's like, well, send her over, I'll get her working tomorrow, right? Like, that's headhunting. That's getting headhunted, right? It's not some massive corporate search for the perfect CEO. No, small business owner saying, oh, I need a reliable cashier. And the last 3 cashiers I got, they were terrible or whatever, right? But Julie, oh my God, Julie, Wendy's friend. Yeah. Julie needs a job. Julie's excited about customer service. She enjoys working, that sort of thing, right? So yeah, Julie wants a job. And who did I say the owner was? Fred? I don't know. Anyway, so the business owner has essentially headhunted Julie to come work for their organization. So, and I just thought, my sister, she lives in a small town, and everybody knows everyone and their skills. So I think, can it be easier to get headhunted in a small town? Maybe. But I think you can be using the same tactics that you have here. Working that personal brand, volunteering, and using network to leverage those connections you build through those other 2 actions. I think you can do the same thing, but you just got to think. I don't want to say think small town, but the town is important. Your community is important, and if you can seem more local and down to earth, I think that's going to be a great thing. Like a humble person that you can headhunt and bring over to your organization. So I'm going to stop talking about that. And we're 1 hour and 33 minutes in. I think today was pretty good. We talked a little bit about our resume, and then I moved into how to get headhunted with the 3 things to get headhunted: personal brand, volunteering, and networking. I mean, that would make a great blog post, man. So maybe I'll write a blog post, or maybe I'll make an actual video. Hopefully some shorts come out of this for that. But today was Career Club. Talked about career stuff. Tomorrow is Friday Fun and Games. So we're going to talk about basically anything: music, movies, popular culture, board games, Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering. I had planned to be live on Whatnot at the same time, but I am postponing my Whatnot sales show until the Canada Post strike is over. I do support unions as a human resources professional. I think Unions are important to fight our greedy capitalist ways. I think they're important in the society we're in right now because we're not treating our workers the way they should. So I am postponing my show so I don't have to find different ways to send packages. I want to use Canada Post, and so I've been postponing that show, but I have been working on some of my stuff. Got some new items, like I moved all the comics that didn't sell on the last show. I moved that over to the show you, so you could, if you follow me on Whatnot. How do I don't know if I got the Whatnot link. Anyway, you don't need to look at it right now. Who cares about that? But I got some stuff. I uncovered a magic card that's worth about $9 US. I'm going to auction that off at the show. So that's a magic card. Kitsa Otter Ball Elite. Look at how cute he is. He's an otter. This was a fun expansion pack for Magic the Gathering. I just love these guys. It's called Bloomborough. Look at that guy. Look at that little mouse. It's all about these interesting little critters and creatures. I mean, these are so fun. Oh my god, look at this one. Blooming Blast. It's like a little mouse on some weird flower creature. That is so cute. It was like, I was looking at these cards and I was like getting all teary-eyed about them because they were just so cute. Where's the one I want? I want to show you. Oh, this guy. This guy's a badass Magic the Gathering card. Look at this. War Squeak. It's a War Squeak. Squeak. Going to war with a squeak. He's a little mouse on some sort of stick creature. War Squeak. Oh my god. These are just so cutesy. I might just buy a whole bunch more. But I found that Otter Ball Elite in there. So I don't think it's going to pay for the pack of cards. I think I paid like $8 for the whole booster pack. So I don't think it's going to cover the cost of it, but it was fun uncovering him. So he's definitely going up for sale. Anyway, that's what's coming up tomorrow. We'll talk more about that stuff if you want. I will be on the highway tomorrow, headed to the city for a taxi pickup. Oh, but I'd be listening while in self-service. All right. I love you too, Joy. Thank you for being my #1 fan. Unless my mom's here listening too, then she's my #1 fan. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to let everybody go. So tomorrow, fun and games, talk about anything and everything. Come join the show. If you are a game store owner, how about consider coming live? Go to my QR code in the top corner here, and there's a place there to set up a meeting to collab. Let's collab, man. I'm not charging people to be on this show right now. I'm taking anybody and anything. If you're a small business owner, let's talk about your business. On Thursdays like this, how about you're a job seeker and you just want to talk about your job search? You can come on the show. That's fine. I am not worried about that. I want anybody to be on the show. So here's my name, IanTheHRPro. And if you can't scan this QR code, here's the link now to my link tree on the screen. It takes you to the same place as the QR code, and it shows you all my important links in there. So it's basically linktr.ee/IanTheHRPro. All right. I want to say goodbye. Thanks for people coming and watching. Yeah, we're done for today, man. See you tomorrow.